So sometimes we have friends who want us to run a game at the drop of a hat. Sometimes we don't have enough time in the day to put in the prep work needed to run a campaign. I'm going to show you how you can use some of these tools to minimize your prep time and get in and get playing as quickly as possible. And you know what? Have some fun exploring the world that you've designed with your players. So I'm Tristan. This is Heroes and Homebrew. So as much as I love running D&D and other TTRPGs, I don't have enough time to prepare campaigns. I don't have time to prepare an overarching storyline. What I've been doing recently is I've been using some of these simple tools to get those games going. And my players know that I'm using these things. I don't keep it a secret, but it allows me to create the game world, the campaign world, and explore it with my players. Let's go over these things and I'll show you how you can use them in your game with your players. So the thing I use most often is an Oracle dice. I use this when players ask me a question that I might not know the answer to, specifically if it's a yes-no question. It's pretty simple, and there's a couple of different versions of it. I'll show you two different versions. We have a white D6 and a black D6. White is yes, black is no. Player asks you a question. Is the door locked? I don't know. No, it's not. That was a 50-50 question or 50-50 answer. It could have gone either way. However, if they ask you a question that might lean more towards one way or the other, for instance, does the bridge look safe? You know what? This bridge has been here for a very long time. I don't think so. So I'm going to roll two black dice, and if the white dice is higher than the black dice, then the answer is yes. It has to be higher than both of them. If one of the black dice is higher than the white dice, then the answer is no. So, does the bridge look safe? It's been here for a long time. I'm going to say no, probably not. No, it doesn't look safe. It looks old and rickety. Some of the boards are missing in it. Maybe like the rope is a bit frayed. And now you can go the other way. Maybe it's a yes. Does the town look abandoned? You know, I've kind of been thinking about this a little bit. Yeah, maybe there's not a lot of people around here. It's kind of old. It's an old mining town. So I'd say it probably does look abandoned. No, it's not abandoned. See, the black dice is higher than the two white dice. So that surprises me. Okay, so this town that's been here for a long time, it's an old mining town, but it doesn't look abandoned. Why doesn't it look abandoned? Maybe they've found something in this mine that supposedly was shut down. Maybe they've found a vein of gold or bronze or copper or something that's keeping people here. And it's creating this story for me without me having to do much about it. Now the other Oracle dice I'm going to talk to you about is from Mythic. It's a percentile dice, and you work with the chart that Mythic gives you. And Mythic works on a chaos factor. So every scene, depending on how in control the players were, the chaos factor can go up and down. Now you can do this behind the scenes, or you could do it with the knowledge of your players. I've been doing it as a co-op play, with GM-less co-op play. We've been using Mythic, and it's working great. It kind of works the same way as the black and white. You ask a yes or no question, and then you base it on the scale of 50-50, likely, very likely, nearly certain, or unlikely, very unlikely, nearly impossible, impossible. Does the bridge look safe? Let's say 50-50. 46, it's below the 50 mark, so yes, it looks safe. Or, you know what? The bridge is old, it's been around for a while, so let's say it's unlikely. We're going with the chaos factor 5, that's the medium chaos factor. And we rolled a 90, unlikely. That's an extremely unlikely result, which means that not only does it look unsafe, but the bridge looks like the minute you step on it, it's going to collapse. So it gives you more of a gauge of your responses, a little more nuance. So that's how you use Oracle dice. Very simple. Generally, if I'm playing with a group of people, I'll probably stick with just using the D6 if I have an idea of the world, but using Mythic along with it works great for a group. Now, I think everyone has used random tables at some time. A lot of the old school games come with random tables, especially for random encounters and whatnot. They're already baked into the system, but there's other random tables that you can get that I use sometimes on a regular basis, or if I get really stuck, I'll pull them out and look something up. Tables, I bought this on Amazon. It's by Matt Davids. I'll put a link for it in the description. I got it off Amazon. You can get it on drive-through and PDF as well. And basically, it's just what it is. It's a book of random tables. Items in a noble's bedchamber. Items in a royal tomb. Culinary herbs and spices. Medicinal herbs. Names. So just one of these books, you can, come up with all kinds of different things. Seafaring encounters, swamp encounters, forest encounters. Super handy. What I did is I bought this and I liked it so much I went and I bought all of the PDFs for the other books. I think there's 5 total, but they also have books for all types of other genres. So I bought all 5 books and I printed them out and I put them in a giant binder. Next is these two. I bought these PDF. These are the D30 DM Companion and D30 Sandbox Companion. Sandbox Companion is all about hex crawling, and the DM Companion is mostly for dungeons. Has monsters per level, miscellaneous dungeon debris, molds, slimes, and mushrooms. And it all works on a D30 dice, which there's instructions on how to use it if you don't have a D30 dice. I went out and I bought a dice set that does have a D30, and it's got a D24 and a D100, just so I can have those dice on hand. These are great. The Sandbox Companion as well has NPCs, settlement suppliers, settlement backgrounds, a heraldry generator. So these are great. You can use them at the table. You can use them for prep, whatever you want. Adventure generator tables, which is great if all of a sudden the party meets an NPC in town and you want to give them a quest. Adventure generator. But also what it has is these worksheets. So you have the hex crawl worksheet and the settlement worksheet. And basically each of these hexes that your players are going into, you can write out information about it. You can use it as you play, and then while you're playing, you're building out this world at the same time. Mythic itself. Now, Mythic is designed for solo play, but you can play it co-op or as the DM with a party. It does require you take notes on it, but basically it breaks down to, for each scene that's going to happen, for whichever scene the players are about to embark in, you roll and you see if that scene is going to change in some way. And if it does change, you roll again and it tells you how it's going to play. Is it going to affect an NPC? Is it going to affect one of the players? Is there going to be in an event? Something like that. And this kind of keeps the story moving and kind of keeps it random but sort of alive, where things are constantly changing and happening. And it doesn't require you to plan all of these things in advance. It kind of just happens organically. It's a great resource. I would play around with it a bit before you use it at a table. Maybe play some solo games with it and see how you feel about it. The more comfortable you get at using it, the faster you'll be at it. Now next is something I've used several times. I use a couple of different versions of this, but I'll show you one version today. Is a dungeon generator. This is what I've been using, or one of the things I've been using, and it's been working out great. So this is Axebane's Deck of Many Dungeons. And you can buy it. You can get it on drive-through, printed out. I just bought the PDF and I printed it out onto cardstock, and it's lasted. So basically, you have the start of the dungeon itself, rooms and corridors, and the end. Now you can use this to generate an actual quest in the dungeon, or just use it to generate a dungeon as players are going through, and you use random tables to fill out the rest of it. First of all, we're going to flip over the entrance. So there we go. We have an entrance, stairs leading down to a room, and 3 corridors leading off of this. Now, yes, the players aren't going to necessarily see it, but if you can put it out on a table in front of them and it's fine, or you can keep it behind your screen if you want to hide it from them. But same as you would with an old school game, if you're telling them the description of the dungeon, you can go around and just say, okay, stairs lead down to a room that is 30 feet by 30 feet, and there's 3 doors. There's one on the left wall, one on the right wall, and one straight ahead. So after that, players decide what they're going to do. They're going to listen at doors, push them open, what have you, and you flip over the next card. Corridor leads down about 50 feet and turns to the left where you see a door. Now, neat things about these cards is they also have quest ideas on them. So when they enter the dungeon, you can roll on the quest idea and say, if you roll a 13, you're going to have to rescue an imprisoned NPC. Easy enough. Well, it might be not easy. We don't know. And also it's got, say, monsters and traps on it and locks and stuff like that. So it kind of has everything on there for you already. So you don't have to roll on another table. You can just use this directly. Now let's say they go back and they go at the other hallway. Let's put it like that. Okay, the hallway continues to the left. Now there's 2 rooms, and there's monsters in this room, and they keep exploring. And you can just keep building your dungeon like this. Well, that one comes to an end. So on, maybe that's a dead end. And then you've been playing for a couple of hours. Okay, let's take them to the end of the dungeon. And there you go, there's your quest goal. You've rescued the NPC. So those are some very simple tools that you can use to get in and get running a game quickly with very little prep. I've been doing this for the last year or so. This is how I run my games. You can still plan a little bit. It doesn't all have to be random, but you're still allowing yourself the freedom to not be held into what you've planned, and it keeps the world kind of fresh for you as well. It keeps you on your toes, and you have to, decide, what do these roles mean? What does this random table mean? Improvising is a big part of being a DM. I personally love it. I love improvising. I love having to come up and responding to what the players are doing. And a lot of people, maybe they aren't as comfortable with that. But I think with time, with practice, you'll get good at it. And I think a good way of doing that is doing some solo play. Picking up a simple game system, even a complicated one, but if you're starting, maybe a simple one is best. Pick up a simple system and play it solo. Use some of these tools to help you get used to improvising. And once you're comfortable with that, you'll be able to run a game without any issues with no prep whatsoever. So I hope this helped you guys. Maybe you take something from it. Maybe you use one of these tools. Maybe you use all these tools. Maybe you use none of them, and you want to tell me why in the comments. That's it for today. Save a seat for me at your table.